So guys, hello and how are you? So this is your trainer Masco, and we are back with another lesson. And today we're going to learn about front-end development. For you to learn front-end development, you must realize or understand what is front-end development. And in this lesson, we are going to learn about front-end development. And what you need to know, front-end developers are people who interact, who understand how to use front-end languages. That is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Those are the front-end languages that you need to understand. So as we continue with the lesson, those are some of the things that you need to understand. And this is a beginner lesson. I guess if you are here, maybe you are an expert or you are a beginner. Welcome to the lesson. So what are we going to learn? It is HTML. Then we're going to jump to CSS. Then we will jump to JavaScript. But in this first lesson, we are only going to do introduction to HTML. Of course, when you are meeting somebody for the first time, before you engage them, you first have to introduce yourself. What is your name? What are you doing? Who are you? Where are you coming from? Why don't we first know this guy called HTML first, so that when you're using HTML, you understand him better. So, welcome to the lesson. We are going to learn HTML, and our lesson starts now. And that is how we start the lesson. And this is what I want to ask you. What is HTML? It is abbreviated as HTML. So first, know it before using it. Most of the people are using HTML, but they don't know about HTML. What does it do? Who should use it? And etc. So today we're going to break it down before we start training you on how it does. But now, before we go ahead, what is HTML? HTML is an abbreviation of a name, and HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. That is why you see H and T is connected as one, then M is separate and L is separate. So what is HT? HT stands for hypertext. Then M stands for markup, and L stands for language. Okay, I guess from there now you understand it. Now let us start. What is HT? HT stands for hypertext. Hypertext that links other pages. So hypertext links other pages. It is a link that links other pages. For example, when you go to your YouTube and click something that takes you to another page or directs you to something else, that is what we call hypertext. Let us go to one of the website. This is safaricom.com.co.ke website. So you can see we have so many pages. This is a website. What you can see here, this is what we call a website. Somebody might ask first, before we go ahead, what is a website? Okay, can we know what is a website? So I will tell you this. A website is a collection of related web pages that are accessible on the internet under single domain. And this is the domain. So the domain is what links you to the website. So a website, think of a website like a book. Okay, a book with so many pages. So when we say a website, we are saying we are example like talking of a book. Then when we talk about web pages, we are talking about the pages of a book. So you can think of a website like an electronic book that has content in it digitally. So what are these pages? Like on this page, on this website, We call it website because it has pages, and you will ask, where are the pages here? So if you look at this website, we have, this is a page, this is a page, we have a page called personal, business, M-Pesa, about us, investor relations. These are all pages, and that is where we talk about the hypertext. So when we talk about hypertext, now you understand anything clickable. When you go to your TikTok, you need to click some things to be able to be directed to other pages. Same to Facebook, same to YouTube. If you want to play music, you have to click play. If you want to watch something on the internet, you have to have a link that directs you to that thing. Though that is the work of hypertext. When you are learning about HTML, that is the work of hypertext. As I told you, HTML stand for hypertext, M stand for markup, and L stand for language. Now when I click on these pages, let us click on the page called business here. You see, it takes us to another page through the help of hypertext. Okay, this is the link that links us to other pages. That is why we use hypertext. Then we have what is called markup. What is a markup? So what is a markup? When you talk about markup, we are talking about tags used to structure content. Okay, tags used to structure content. HTML has its own style of how you write texts. Okay, like when you go to Microsoft Word, you type text, information that you want to send, or you want to use, or you want somebody to read. For example, if you type for somebody, I want you to stand up, that is a direction. The person will stand up. Also, when you want to make a website move or something happen on the internet through the computer, we have what is called computer language, and this computer language is what commands the computer on what to do. That is why we say the markup is a structure of the language. For example, we are using English. English is a word of communication. So whatever you write to somebody in English will make them understand what to do. So markup also is a language that tells the computer what to do on using the website. When you are making a website, the markup language tells the website, the browser or the website, what to do. So, for example, let us come here and look at what are markup languages. So we will come to the same website. Okay, go to home page of the same website and right click on that website and come down and inspect the website. Inspecting the website, there are some strange writings that will appear on the right side. These are strange writings that many people as the users will not understand. Now these are the markups, these are the language that the browser understand when you are making your website. For example, you can see on top here we have doc type, then HTML, then we have body. This is the language that the computer understands when you are now talking about the markup. You see, it is not written in Swahili, it is not written in English, it is not written in Latin, it is not written in French. It is written in a markup using tags. Okay, and this is what now brings us to language. It is a language. Okay, that's why you say HTML is a language. Okay, so when we talk about HTML, hypertext, markup, then the hypertext is the linking. The markup is the structure of the language, how you write the language. Then L stands for the language. Okay, now this is the language that tells the browser how to behave while you are operating your website. Now I guess you understand what is HTML. But to make it very simple for you, why don't I bring this? This is now a structure. Okay? HTML is a structure. Because we are told, when you look at the meaning of HTML, you get that it is a structure. It's a standard language that creates a structured content of our website. Structured content of our website. Think of a structured website as the image that you see before your screen. This is unfinished house with skeleton. This is just a skeleton of a house. Now, when you're making a website, HTML helps you create this kind of a structure. Okay? When you have this structure, then now you have the layout of what you want to make. Are we getting? Now, there are still things that are not on the house. We don't have windows, but we have window space, window box. We don't have a door, but we have door space. We have roofs, but we don't have the iron sheets. We don't have the branding. We don't have the colors. Now, this is the structure. HTML makes the structure using hypertext markup. Now after that, after you've made your structure, for the beauty of the house, now you go to the next language, which is now called CSS. And CSS now will bring the beauty, will decorate. That's why we say CSS is for styling. Now we have the roof, we have the windows, we have the door. Now you can see that house is now fully styled, and that is the work of CSS. And this is the work of HTML. The work of HTML is to bring the structure. The work of CSS is to style it. Look at how the house is now beautiful because the structure is there. Now, from this, you will now understand how JavaScript works. Now you will ask, now, because HTML does this, okay, then CSS does this. Then what does JavaScript do? Okay, now when it comes to JavaScript, JavaScript basically is a language for interactive. I always say it makes things interactive, it makes movement, it makes how do we call it, the movement and the motions in the house. Now let's say, for example, in this case, we need to open the window. That is the work of JavaScript. We need to open the door. We need to ensure that the light is there. We need to ensure that the movement. Okay? That's why we say JavaScript basically is for the movement. When you want to send emails, when now you want the movement of, like, you want the animations of the image, when you want the slides in your website, okay, just as we can see the house, we want the door to open, okay, that is the work of JavaScript. And the work of CSS is now to make the house beautiful, as we can see. And the work of HTML is just the structure. Now, HTML does not make a house or style a house. This was just an example to tell you, assume this is the website, you have made this with HTML, you are making this now, styling it with the CSS. Now, the interactivity, now we need JavaScript to make things move. And when we talk about that, that is now what we called HTML. Okay? That is now what we called HTML. And now, many people will ask, okay? Many people will ask, what does HTML do? Okay. Because HTML defines the structure of a web page, it also tells the browser what is heading. Like right now, you can see what is HTML. You can see the word what is is small, HTML is bigger. Now, the structure tells HTML what is heading and what is like, for example, in our house we have what is window, what is door. Yes, that is the work of HTML. Also tells it what is a paragraph, what is a paragraph, what is heading, and where images go, also through HTML, where we place images, and also how links work. What are these links? That is what we said about hypertext. These are links that take you to other pages. So another example is, think of HTML as a skeleton of a website. It organizes content but does not handle styling. The work of styling is CSS. So the behavior of the website is JavaScript. How the website will behave, sending emails, animations, okay, making things move. That is what we call the behavior, how things behave. That is the work of JavaScript. Then HTML work with what we call things like attributes, and we will learn about attributes when we go to the next level. So for that introduction, I guess you now know HTML. The structure of the website is designed by HTML. The style of the website is designed by CSS. Now, that has been an introduction to CSS, and now you know about HTML. Thank you very much, guys, for understanding. This has been your trainer Masco. Let's see each other on the next lesson as we now jump deeper into the next level, lesson 1 of HTML, as we continue. Bye. See you then.